This is Sid Hagen. You're listening to the Timo and Harley Show, and you better keep listening. I'll come over there and put my boot all up in your ass.
Welcome to the Timo and Harley Show.
Thank you for listening to the Timo and Harley Show. I am Timo. Over there is my partner in Mindcrime, Mr. Ben Harley. Say hello, Harley.
What is happening, people?
Ben Harley.
That's old me.
yes.
Hardy.
Mr. Ben Harley.
Yeah.
So
Yes,
let's see here. Just want to say it's in the space-time continuum. We're just a couple days past Angio's birthday. So I wanted to say happy birthday to her.
Happy birthday, Angio.
Yes, she turned I don't want to tell people. She's finally turned 30.
22.
No, she turned 30. Yeah.
Okay, there you go, yeah.
She's in
29.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So I'd like to say happy birthday to her. And
happy birthday, Angio.
yes, and then our little buddy Chance, it's his birthday coming up, and Danny Hicks' birthday too. Hello, Danny from the Great Beyond.
Hey, Danny.
So yes, it's his, we're
Happy
celebrating
birthday.
the big trifecta of birthdays here at the O House. And then let's see what else we got going on. Got some trees getting pulled because we got a pool going in.
Nice, Timo.
Yes, that would be good.
You'll be out there practicing your jackknife, power bombs, whatever.
My can openers to embarrass Shane Van Meter.
Yes.
How does that fella's half my size make a splash twice as big?
Yeah.
Well, what did we all say, Mr. Ben Harley? I am an engineer, correct?
That's right. Yes. It's all about style and grace.
I'm like the little chicken in Foghorn Leghorn that can whittle up a mathematical equation to make anything work. So
that's right. Yeah.
Prove that. And let's see. Also, I just want to mention too. Been in touch with one of speaking of Danny Hicks, one of his friends from living out in California. There, Mike Callio. Mike was in My Name Is Bruce. He played the director of the cave alien movie that Bruce is in that movie.
And that was a hell of a little movie there, the cave alien.
Oh yeah. I'd like to see that movie actually. And then he also did the behind the scenes for My Name Is Bruce, which was very, very enjoyable, very fun. Special feature on there. Well, he is doing a documentary on Danny.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so he's been in touch with me to give him a hand to see his project come through. So, and I'm sure Mr. Ben Harley would be a part of that at some point.
That would be nice. So. That would be awesome.
Yeah.
That would be a pleasure, actually.
Yes.
Great.
So, got a few things going on. You said old Sydney, she took a spill on a rogue golf cart last week, but she's on the mend okay, right?
Yep. She's healing up pretty good. She's healing up really well. So, I was a little nervous about her there.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I'm sure, yeah.
I know.
Her face was kind of messed up, right?
She had some scrapes, she had some cuts and some scrapes, and then a few days before that, she had lost one of her front teeth, her top front middle teeth.
Just adding to it, right?
Oh, yeah. So she looked pretty gnarly. She looked gnarly. Yeah, I don't think anybody wanted to rumble her at all.
Oh, no.
We walked down the aisles at the store. They got off the aisle. Turn around.
More than normal, right?
Yes, yeah. Like, whoa, wait a second. Hold on now. So, she's back at it. Not quite as destructive, but she's she didn't lose much of a step, Tim. Let me put it that way. So,
gotcha. All right. Very good. So that's good to hear she is on the mend, and she has learned her lesson. She's going to stay off the rogue.
Yes.
Golf carts, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Very good. Yes. Very good. Excellent.
Yeah.
So glad to hear as it was. Yeah. So, all right. Well, let's see here. Got to watch a few things here. Mr. Ben Harley.
Why don't you lay it on me, my man?
Roll through these here with you. Oh, you know what? No, hold on a second. There's something that I actually noted.
Yeah.
That due to Danny Hicks passing, we of course we're very upset about that, and we've neglected to say hello to Mr. Ben Harley, the core of our audience, the deep thinkers.
Yes, we have, and And I feel bad about that too.
I do too. And Danny Hicks would be disappointed in us.
Yes.
He'd just not be happy at all. No. And I just, I had to say, hello, deep thinkers. We know you've been there. We can hear you breathing.
Yes.
So
and we're sorry.
Yes.
Last couple of weeks, we have not acknowledged the deep thinkers.
Nope, we have not. And we know they've been there. They've been there for us and with us. Yes, absolutely. And here we are being jerks and not acknowledging them. So hello, deep thinkers. And
hello, deep thinkers out there.
And continue to think.
You complete us.
Yes, you do. And continue to think deeply, please.
Yes.
The only way you can get through this show is to become a little bit smarter than you normally are and think very deeply. You need to wear water wings to think when you're around us, basically. So, right. So, again, salutations and hello, deep thinkers. So now, Mr. Ben Harley, I'm going to freak you and the deep thinkers out.
Wow.
Because I watched some stuff and they're all kind of new. They're after the year 2000.
That's impressive, Tim. Mm-hmm. Really. And sometimes I feel like you're going rogue. I don't know.
I might be. Let's see here. We'll start older. So we'll start from 2002. How about that? Watch the movie They.
Okay.
Starring Laura Reagan and Ethan Embry. It was directed by Robert Harmon, who did The Hitcher.
And I like The Hitcher.
Yes. So this is a creature feature, I guess, where people are having night terrors. People had, they're adults now, but when they were kids, they had night terrors, and they imagined these monsters that could only live in the dark. So like under your bed and in the closet and stuff. Well, they come to find out, of course, there is monsters in the dark.
Oh, yes, of course. Yeah.
Sure there are. So, but, this is not a great movie, but it was like this little creature feature that came out during a time when nothing good was coming out.
Sure.
And it's okay. It's like watchable okay. So, and that is a home run. For anything made after the year like 87,
right?
Yeah, right, right. So it's okay. It was okay to go back and look at that. So just wanted to mention that. Wait a minute, I forgot. There is one before 2000. I made a mistake here. And I just even said the name of the year.
87.
Yes, from 1987. Watch The Hidden.
Oh, yeah.
This was a movie with Kyle MacLachlan and Michael Nouri where they were like, I think Kyle MacLachlan plays supposedly like an FBI agent, and Michael Nouri is a cop, detective, and they're after a shape-shifting alien. So it's not really a shape-shifting alien. Basically, the Tingler. Goes back and forth through different host bodies. And they're after it. Yes, we did. We did. So I went back and watched that again. Kind of fun looking at it again. That's a fun little movie.
The Tingler. Yes, what do you know about the Tingler?
It does look like the Tingler, though. So, we were watching it, and the monster came out of someone's mouth. I go, the Tingler made a cameo. There he is. Yeah. So that was fun to look at. Let's see here. Just a few more things, but you're going to be really interested in this. I have actually started from 2019.
What?
I have actually started watching a series.
No.
Yes, I have.
Come on.
And I've been watching it on disc. No, because I'm not a slave to streaming or a television or anything. But this is the DC series.
What?
Swamp Thing.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yes. Now, I like me some Swamp Thing.
Yeah, no, you got an affection.
I do. It's a horror comic book. I mean, I read those comic books when they came out, and they were dark.
Yes,
and spooky, and they were totally different. They were their own thing. Now, I did like Marvel's answer to it also, Man Thing. That was cool, too. And that was very similar. It was a horror thing and stuff, but I'm sorry. Now, I'm usually a Marvel guy, but no, and on this one, DC knocked it out of the park with this one. I think Swamp Thing was a very, very cool character and very dark, and I liked it. Loved it, actually. And now the Wes Craven movie, I saw that at the theater like 3 times because I was such a Swamp Thing fan when I was a kid. But I always thought that the Wes Craven movie was pretty good about keeping the origin of Swamp Thing intact, but the tone was completely wrong. It was like a goofy. It tried to be dark and comic, like zany comic book. Campy.
At the same time,
at the same time. It didn't work because I never felt like the Swamp Thing comic books were campy. They were dark.
No, exactly.
Right. So the series is much closer to that tone. It's a horror
Okay.
series, basically. Even though
And what was
Craven's-
this on, Timo?
It's on, I think, the DC streaming service they
Okay.
do. I think Swamp Thing was supposed to be their big send off. Like this is going to be their big opening for their series and stuff. And I read a little bit about it and stuff, and I kind of agree. People were like, it's oddly not compelling.
Really?
Everything is kind of there, but they do change the story to where, it's an experimental plant growth accelerant that gets into the environment. And Arcane, who was the villain of the original, is an attractive young lady who is basically Alec Holland's friend. And Alec Holland is just a failed scientist who's trying to test the environment to see
how much we've messed it up.
Well, no, he is he's suspicious, and he's on to the local land developers or who are the fertilizer companies, whatever they are, that are starting this growth accelerant stuff that are polluting. He's got, like
he's onto him.
He's onto him. Yeah. So he gets offed. And then, of course, he turns into Swamp Thing because he falls into the water and, he Swamp Things out or whatever. So Arcane is actually the young lady who is kind of like your hero. And then Will Patton and Virginia Madsen play like a couple who are kind of like the evil barons of the area, the swamp.
Okay, sure.
I like them as actors. Very good. And they're pretty good in this. I got to tell you, though, there was like a moment. There was this moment where I just realized what I don't like about TV series. So there's this exchange between Abby Arcane and Will Patton, and he helped. She was like an orphan, and he helped raise her. But he's nefarious, so he's not a good guy.
No.
So you don't even trust him around her or anything. And there's a whole lot of problems going on because his real daughter died, and they blame Abby Arcane for it. The girl who was who they adopted basically or took in. So there's a whole lot of shit going on here. A whole lot of backstory that we get to dig up every episode, piece by piece by piece.
Yeah.
And they get into this exchange where they're looking at each other and they're about ready to go at it about the central plot of the film. What's going on? And Will Patton stops and says, hold on now. Sit down. Let's talk.
Yeah.
And then they spend 5 minutes talking about the past. And it slows the whole damn scene down, and it slowed the whole series down for me because it just jumped out at me, going, "This is why I don't like series."
Sure.
Everything they had before Will Patton said, "Sit down." The exchange already said everything that they were going to basically repeat slower.
Yeah.
It was like drawn out to me. We've been having problems with drawn out films too, and it's And that, I'm always trying to give you different reasons why I don't like the series and why I don't bother watching them. I'm about 4 episodes in. I don't think I can make it. No.
Is there more than one season, bud?
No. And that's the other thing, too. I thought maybe it's only 10 episodes or something, or 8. I'm like, I can make it through this. No.
Yeah.
Don't think I'm going to make it. I don't think I'm going to make it. And I don't know what it is. It's like, I do know what it is. It's a cool character with just a boring story around it. And I guess partially they kind of PC'd it up, which is why they changed the story. But really, the original story, there is no PC or not PC. It's just people. No. It's scientists in the swamps.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just think things aren't made for me anymore. So.
No, but that's, and I feel you too on that.
Yeah, so just kind of disappointed in it. I don't know. It's just not my thing. I want it to be my thing, and it's not. I want to get into a series I like, and I can't. It's just, they all get too drawn out. I want to be told a story and move on.
Right.
So.
I feel you, bud.
Yeah. How did I explain to Angie? I said, I just want to be told a story about these people. I don't want to feel like I live with them and they're like my best friend, or I need to worry about from day to day what's going to happen to my characters and my show. It's like, that's not my personality.
Right. Sure.
All right, let's see here. Just 2 more things. 2 more things, and that's it. So from 2019, watch the movie.
2019, Tim. Wow.
I know. The Color Out of Space.
The Color Out of Space?
Yes, The Color Out of Space with Nicolas Cage in it. All right? The Color Out of Space is an H.P. Lovecraft story.
Is it? Okay.
Yes, it has been adapted to film many times. One of them was The Curse, which we reviewed.
Yes.
And that was with Claude Atkins on the farm, and they were drinking the water, and the water was turning them into monster things.
Yeah.
Or whatever. Well, that's what this is. It's a meteorite falls, and it kind of infects the water. And the aliens are sort of represented by a color that they've never seen before. It's an unexplainable color. So I mean, you can remember H.P. Lovecraft is an oddball, so some of this stuff is a little different. The Boris Karloff movie Die Monster Die is an adaptation of this, where they had like the plants growing and stuff, and then like the water is causing the plants to get like monster plant
Planty.
Yeah, Planty. Yeah. So anyway, this was directed by Richard Stanley. Now, Richard Stanley directed Hardware, Dust Devil, and his legend is he's the guy that got kicked off the Island of Dr. Moreau movie from the 90s.
Really?
Yes.
Oh,
and
yeah,
then,
that guy.
Yeah. And then he ends up back on the set as one of the monsters.
Yeah, he snuck
back on. Yeah.
That's an odd documentary.
It is, and he's an odd bird. And this movie is right in there with like Mandy and other strange movies that have come out lately, strange horror films, and a lot of them somehow have Nicolas Cage attached to them. Tommy Chong's even in this.
Oh, really?
Yes. As like here's a stretch for him. He's a hippie living out in the woods in a shack.
Yeah, it's a real stretch.
Yeah, it's I don't know. I liked it more than Mandy. I don't know if you've heard of that movie or not, but
I've heard you talk about it, but I didn't.
Some people enjoyed it. It was just too, I want to say weird for me because I'm like a David Lynch fan. It was sort of like weird for weird's sake.
Okay, yeah.
I guess. I don't know. I am admitting that I'm getting old and that these movies aren't speaking to me at all anymore. Like, I just don't. It's not that I'm like, I don't understand this and I'm afraid of it. It's like, it feels self-indulgent to me and a shortcut to writing or thinking.
Okay.
That's what they feel like to me. It's not that I don't understand them. It's just that it's like, I mean, you could have just done that a little bit more straightforward. You'd have been fine, whatever it is. It's shot very well. The acting is good. It's okay. I don't know. I'm not a big Richard Stanley fan. Hardware was okay. I went to the theater and saw that.
Yeah, I think I'm trying to think if I saw that there too or not.
It's like, and I respect it. It had Lemmy in it and stuff, but I don't know. I just, he's interesting. I like following like what he does and stuff, but his movies to me are like, I don't know who propped him up to being brilliant.
Right.
That's what I want to know. Like, who watched Hardware and was like, this is brilliant? No, Hardware was brilliant because it was a low-budget movie that shouldn't have done anything and made money.
Yeah, there you go. There's the brilliance.
It was a killer robot movie when the Terminator was popular. So,
of
course it's going to make a little money. I don't know. I don't see what separates him from other filmmakers that were doing okay around that time. I don't get it.
Yeah.
I don't get it. So finally, Mr. Ben Holly, something I want to talk about with you here.
Yeah.
From 2020, I watched on Amazon Prime. So you can actually watch this. You can. We can get done with the show. You can go on your Amazon Prime and you can hit the town that loved Bigfoot.
Ah, okay, good.
Yes. So this is the town of Evergreen, Alabama.
Okay.
That I know. Now sit down and calm down. It's don't rush out the door and get in your car. First up, it is a collard green capital of Alabama. Sit down.
Wait, what?
Sit down. Relax. Wait till the show's done. Then you go down.
Okay.
Then you can go rape and pillage the collard greens in Evergreen. I know you're excited. And they also got the state to deem them the I guess the Bigfoot capital of Alabama.
Oh,
I suppose.
Wow. Okay.
Yes. There's been some Bigfoot sightings down in them parts there.
Nice, yeah.
Yes. So this is a documentary about Evergreen, Alabama and the town that loved Bigfoot. And so what they did is there had been sightings. And I guess, it's an interesting little quaint documentary. Okay. They talked to a reporter for the newspaper in town. And they talked to the local radio DJ.
Okay.
And they just these people are talking about Bigfoot and talking about how people were coming to them with sightings. So they started reporting on it because they're in Evergreen, Alabama. And if there's no collard greens to talk about, what do you talk about?
Talk about Bigfoot.
Yeah, so it's this little like roadside town, I guess, between, I think they said Montgomery and like Mobile or something. Okay. So it's like a Millstadt or something, you know. It's not, there's really not. But so they figured, well, the Collard Green Festival, you know, that can draw a crowd. But they were thinking.
Oh, you betcha.
Yeah, so they were thinking, well, you know, it couldn't hurt to attach Bigfoot to our town. Of course, you know, there's that's depending on who you talk to in the town, of course.
Sure, yeah.
But then they went and they bought like this big Bigfoot statue and they put it out like almost like on the interstate going past the town. Okay. So like if you were driving past there, you would be like, hey, there's a Bigfoot statue. Let's pull over and see what that's about. Right. You know, to get a little extra commerce in town, they'd say, well, you know, people stop and take a picture with the Bigfoot sign. Maybe they'll go to a restaurant here or something, you know, just to get some money and stuff. So there's that. But then they start talking to local Bigfoot researchers, and you're not going to learn anything new watching this. Right. But we're back to people who go out in the woods, and these are hunters. This is Alabama. Yeah. Everybody, they even say like,
they like to hunt.
Yes. They even say like, this is Alabama. Everybody hunts. All right. You know, so,
so get over it, right?
Yes. Yes. Now, someone from the North like us too, we're going to have to put our stereotypes away because people from Alabama have a Southern twang to them. Mm-hmm. I have a Southern twang to people who live where you live. Right. And they have a Southern twang to me. So it's got to be almost a foreign language to you guys up there. So it is kind of funny saying, you know, when the DJ's going, you know, some of these rednecks around here, they'd shoot it, you know, and that's what they sound like. So you have to understand that even there's a distinction between a redneck isn't designated by the inflections in your voice. No. Any more than a criminal is or anything else, you know. So you have to get past that a little bit and put away your stereotypes and realize, yes, these are educated people. One guy's going, well, I heard this one woman, she'd tell me about her Bigfoot story. I was giving her an epidural. Now, you know someone ain't lying when you're sticking a needle up your spine giving an epidural. I'm like, you're giving an epidural. You might want to qualify that with you're a doctor before you say you're getting an epidural, you know. So there's a couple of funny moments.
Get it on my front porch,
yeah, there's a couple of funny moments like that. But there's a couple good stories in it. I bet. And it's a breezy documentary. It's not It's not like being too serious or anything, but they claim that there was a person down there who shot a Bigfoot, and that like a bunch of other ones grabbed it. Like when people were saying, like, why don't you find the bodies? And one hunter claimed he shot one, and like three or four of them came out of the trees and grabbed that one and drug it away. Wow! Like so they would not allow it to just die on the spot or whatever.
I've often thought that myself.
Well, and then they one of them claimed to have gotten blood samples from one that they had injured or shot. I don't know if it was the same story or not. I can't remember, but they sent the blood samples to get analyzed, and they came back with it was a primate, but it wasn't human, and it wasn't any known gorilla. So it was a primate though, and so but they didn't know. Now, that's kind of proof. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. So if it is true, it's proof. We hear whispers and stuff that this kind of evidence is out there, but it's another problem I have with the Bigfoot community. It's like, well, why don't you put it out there? Sure. And they have their reasons, and some of like some of the video footage and stuff I understand, but why wouldn't you put the proof out there if you wanted the proof? And I still say that some of them don't want the proof.
I do too. Yeah, I think the same thing too.
And there are the people too that this documentary, these people were, I mean, again, these are Southern hunters. They were not buying into any of the supernatural stuff about Bigfoot. Okay. Yeah. None of it.
None of the UFO sightings.
They weren't having any of it. Nope. Okay. They weren't having any of it. So anyway, so I like that. I do like that. I tend to say if something's out there, let's stick with it's just a flesh and blood creature. We'll start there and move forward from there.
Right, exactly. Yeah. Do you have any guys that look like Crenshaw from Boggy Creek 2 on there?
Yes.
Oh, I bet.
As a matter of fact,
I hope so.
Yeah, he would have been a runway model in this movie, actually. Yeah. So,
Good.
Yeah, but it's not too bad. It's not too bad. They do talk about, about how it's a wild animal, and there was a little bit of a debate whether or not it's aggressive. And they were saying, well, it's not that it's by nature aggressive, but it's a wild animal. They all can get aggressive to protect themselves.
right.
And everything. And there were some interesting stories, but some of it was sort of like one step away from being like really compelling stories and things like that. But again, it's called The Town That Loved Bigfoot.
Yeah, I might have to check that out tomorrow. I need a new little Bigfoot something or another.
Right. And the southern Bigfoot's interesting to hear about. The swampier Bigfoot type of, Bigfoot, because they are known as being like maybe a little smaller, more aggressive, I guess. And I still contend there's a lot of hurricanes down there and a lot of zoos.
Yes.
And I'm still not convinced that there isn't some kind of orangutan population or something
on the loose.
And that's
skunk ape.
Yeah. Absolutely. Be like, I smell something strange. Guess what? Like, they all stink. You ever been in the ape house or the monkey house at a zoo? They stink.
Yeah. Whew. Yes, I have. Yes,
they smell like me after cutting grass. It's bad. Yeah. It's really bad, So, but but anyway, interesting little breezy documentary again. And I know we haven't really talked much Bigfoot lately. So, nothing new. Unfortunately, nothing new. But I do appreciate these people they're keeping their shit grounded right now about their belief. And most of these people are hunters who have just been enlightened, and so they keep their ears open more. They do go out looking for Bigfoot, but that's not all they do. They're out there too. I also kind of appreciated the fact that they're hunters and they weren't scared out of the woods.
Right. Yes.
A lot of them say, "I'll never go back in the woods again."
I ain't never going back there. Yeah.
I don't know if you'd be an avid hunter and say that. That's just my personal opinion. I mean, I'm like, I don't know. It's like saying that if you got into a bad accident in your car, that you wouldn't drive anymore.
Right. Exactly.
I was driving down the road and I saw this giant Jeep that was ugly as hell. Scared the hell out of me. I'm staying off the roads.
I ain't never going back.
I never go back on the roads with that Jeep on the road, so it's kind of weird to me. But
now I can see if one of the Bigfoots grabbed your gun and snapped it over your head or his knee or something, and then I think, okay, I'm done.
Yeah, that would annoy you. That would.
God damn it. Yeah,
that would send a signal. Signal to you. So Anyway, did you say you peeped your eyeballs? Did you watch the Star Wars movie again, the newest Star Wars?
Yes.
Nothing new to report. Rise. Was it still disappointing to you?
Yeah, it's Rise of Skywalker. Actually, I kind of liked it the first time I saw it. This time, it's all right. It's okay. I'm kind of over that the new Star Wars thing there. Mm-hmm. Whatever. Mm-hmm. I don't know. They're trying to put too many people in it. Or I don't feel I don't know. When Han Solo got trapped in carbonite, I thought I was going to die. I did. I thought, man, this is awful. It's just terrible, man. And what's going to happen to these? I just don't feel like that way about these characters. And I don't know. Maybe it's just me because I'm older and I just don't really care. But yeah, I don't know.
They're not your characters, I think, is what it is.
No, and it's not that I don't like them. I think most of them are pretty good. Uh-huh. But to me, I just look at this stuff as kind of rehashed old Star Wars stuff, and I'm like, meh.
Is this like the ninth then, like in the episodic series of Star Wars, which that's not what it was in the beginning, but
no.
So, but now it'd be like episode 9, basically, is what you saw.
9, yeah, okay. Really.
All right, so we had the what was the first one? What was the first one that came out? The Force Awakens.
Yes, Force Awakens.
And then what was the Last Jedi or something like that?
Last Jedi.
That was the last one I saw. Yeah.
Yeah, and that one was very disappointing.
Yeah, I'm pretty checked out now. I don't care anymore.
Yeah, the first one I didn't really mind too much. It was okay. It's all right. I'm like, this one's okay because it has the Emperor in it, and I'm an Emperor guy. That's my dude, man. Oh, it's my guy. I'm like,
I like him too. Yeah, I like to channel the Emperor sometimes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Young Skywalker.
Okay. Yeah. And he's actually pretty good in it. And the whole twist is of the whole thing is okay. Yeah, I'll give it. It's cool. It didn't blow my socks off like learning that Luke Skywalker.
Right.
Darth Vader and Luke Skywalker. But
but
that was a totally different thing. I think that was. And we've seen so many movies since then with the same type of stuff. It just doesn't really
Right.
blow my mind, but it's got a good little twist. It's okay. It's still shot well and everything. I just think there's just too much going on a lot of times too. And the ending there's some silly stuff at the ending. I'm just like, come on. Just stop.
Do you
Now you
think
insult my intelligence a lot. And I'm like, I don't.
right?
I don't know.
Do you think it's and I probably don't even have to ask this given today's world and economics and everything.
Yeah.
But do you think that it's just open for more and more and more sequels or
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, and spin-offs and things like that. And they brought Orlando Calrissian showed up in this one, and
Gotcha. Was it
which
still
I'm
Billy
okay.
D? Was Billy?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, which
Well,
I'm
that's good.
happy with. That was
Yeah.
okay. But yeah, there looks like they're going to spin off a couple other things, but
Okay.
I don't know. I can't say I like these near as much as I liked that Mandalorian.
Mm-hmm.
Which I thought was really great.
Well, that was a TV series, though. That was a show, and
Yeah.
it was a different offshoot. So it's kind of you can understand that. But as far as the main series of films and stuff, it's almost like I think we just live in a world where it's never gonna be just Star Wars and Empire and Jedi again.
No,
it's not ever gonna be that way again, and I think that's just difficult for us to.
It's hard for me to swallow a little bit. Like it was funny the other day. I went to one of my best friends growing up. I played hockey with. It was his 50th birthday party, and I was on my way out there. And now, Tim, I know you've passed this little theater here in. It's actually in Maumee, that little small little theater there.
The old fashioned.
They were showing, that Saturday night they were showing Empire Strikes Back, and I was like, oh man, I had no idea about it until I went by there, and I was like, crap, because that would have been awesome to go see that,
right?
In the theater again, especially there, that small little place. Would have been kind of.
You would have had to wear a hazmat suit. You would have had 19 feet away from the other person. But
Everybody,
you would have seen it. You would have seen
exactly.
it. Yeah, right.
Maybe from the parking lot, I could have sat in the parking lot and watched it from there.
Yeah.
But I thought that was kind of cool. But yeah, it's just. I don't know. Those are my movies, really, I guess, and I'm kind of over the newer stuff. Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely over it. And I know we talked about this. I tried watching the prequels or whatever, and oh, God. I punched myself in the face a few times. And it sucks because I can't say they're bad movies. They're just not good for me. They're not good movies to me. And and I think that I always had, it's just those first three.
Right.
That was my deal.
Right.
That was our, so
well,
whatever.
I mean, look, let's be fair here. You're a couple years older than me even, and you have stuck through these movies much more than I gave up on these movies way before you did. So you really soldiered on and stuck it through and tried to keep things going. But sounds like you're finally falling apart like I did a few years back.
It's
like
just,
I'm done. That's it.
It's past me, and my thing is, all the characters too, you got Leia and Luke and Han and pretty much all dying anyhow, what I mean? So they're the only one left is Chewbacca really. And I'm sure I'm surprised they tried to off him in this new one. They tried to pull a fast one on you. All I kept thinking in this one is like, they're just using these other guys to promote these next generation of, and I just I don't feel it, Tim. I don't get that feeling. Like there's only a couple things that, and I did watch that Mandalorian. There was a couple things I was like, wow, that brings me back. It makes, or wow, that was really pretty cool. Some of these ones now I'm like, all right, this is a lot. It's lots going on, too much going on. How much longer is this movie? You know what I mean? Stuff like that.
Right,
I just, that's not the way I want to watch a movie. Or here's the thing. You're throwing way too many people at me. You're throwing way too many characters at me that you want me to love and all these, I don't get it, man. It's just a lot of recycled stuff too. I mean,
maybe I'm just cranky again because I'm just waving my cane around and it is what it is. But I want them to leave our stuff alone and create new stuff for these kids. Yeah. Because it bothers me because look, let's one of the things that bothers you when you get older is the fact that when you realize and start noticing immediately noticing that they're no longer advertising to you.
Right.
That's when, and that pisses you off because that's when you know you're old. Like when the advertisements are going over your head and you're like,
Yeah.
Why did that strange looking person wearing those weird clothes do that? You know,
Right.
when you're getting to that point in life, you get irritable, you get mad because it's like knowing your own mortality and knowing that you're getting older and stuff. Well, that's one thing, but then when you incorporate our shit into that, then we get offended.
Yeah.
Then it's like, hey, whoa, you know. So on one hand, it's good though that they're having all this new stuff, but did it need to be called Star Wars? Could it have been a different science fiction story for the youth of today?
Sure.
And not have, because what happened is, why do you think they had to tinker around with Star Wars to make it work for today? And for the changes in the story they decided to make, like kind of like when they made Luke and Leia brother and sister. Yeah. And you only see it every now and then when people are going, are we the only people that realize they're like making out in
the first one? Yeah.
And clearly they were the love interest. Like, it wasn't like subtle. I'm just saying.
Well, what I liked about this one, it did have a darker tone than the rest. It kind of had that, maybe, I'm not pushing it that far, but it had more of an Empire Strikes Back, darker tone to it, which I enjoyed. Plus, you had the Emperor in it, but it just, I don't know. By the time it was over, I was like, kind of glad this movie's over, and that bummed me out too. I'm like, well, I thought I kind of liked this one a little bit, but which is okay. It's all right. I mean, it's definitely way better than the second one, right. And it's kind of on par with the first one. It's just, I'm tired of it. I'm done. I'm tired of the same story over and over. How many things do we got to blow up? How many towers do we got to knock out this tower so we can blow up this other thing? And how many times, you know what I mean? Right. Like, how many, oh God.
That's how I feel about TV shows. What you're explaining is why I don't, I feel like I have a fighting chance in a movie. But you don't in Star Wars anymore because it's such a series of films and TV shows and cartoons and toys. It's like, oh God, it's oversaturation basically. Yeah, again.
It's a lot of the same stuff over and over for me, and I just it is, and I can't. How's the saying go, Timo? Suspend my disbelief enough anymore. Right. It's just too much stuff going on. You're like, come on, man.
Right. You know what's funny too is remember those years, like basically throughout the 90s, where there was nobody talked about Star Wars. Right. It was like kids didn't know what it was anymore. It had completely it had its moment. Yeah. And then we moved on. And I remember everybody getting so excited when the Phantom Menace was being made. Oh, here we go again. And I think people like us learned a big lesson.
Yes, we did.
Learned a big lesson in that because it was made, but we were hoodwinked, as you say, because it wasn't made for us. No, it was made for our kids, and we were offended at the fact that it was made for our kids because as kids, we always felt like that wasn't just made for us; that was made for our parents too. Yeah, and those didn't feel like they were made for parents at all. Like, so it was hard. It was hard, but I don't know, Harley. I don't think. Where's my cane at? Let me get my cane.
Exactly. Get it out.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
There's my lightsaber cane.
Right.
Yeah. So, all right, let's get to our official film, Mr. Ben Harley.
Let's do it, my friend. Yeah.
So this week from 1987, I've mentioned 87 a couple times.
Yeah.
Already this week, we have the film The Gate.
The Gate.
Yes,
sir.
All right, let me get you out, movie guy, and get you a short storyline synopsis. Dealio here for The Gate.
The Gate.
There we go.
Yeah.
Kids left home alone accidentally unleash a horde of malevolent demons from a mysterious hole in their suburban backyard. Okay.
Yes, there you go.
So it is an 80s.
Is this an American flick, Tim?
Yeah, I believe so. Hold on, let me look.
Is it okay?
That's a good question. I didn't.
Because towards the end, I was like,
yeah, you know what? You're right. It is Canadian, and I should have thought that. I'm gonna absolutely, Mr. Ben Harley.
Really weird.
Congratulations!
Thank you. Buddy.
I am proud of my student. He has picked a Canadian film out of nowhere, and that does explain a hell of a lot. And I didn't think about that.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Right at the end, I was like, "This feels something's up with this movie, man. There's something wrong."
That's a good call. Very good call. Yeah. No, I did not. So this is Canadian. That is true. So
nice.
Maybe it was the the heavily 80s look of it that kind of threw me off a little bit.
Yeah.
It was trying pretty hard to be United Statesy. It was trying pretty hard. Yeah, so it's a bunch of kids who discover basically a hole in their backyard and little demons are coming out of it and stuff, and they have to battle. And so then in the meantime, there's a lot of like heavy metal like records being played backwards to help the demons along with their demony shit. Yeah, and things like that. So
good old heavy metal bands. If it weren't for them, man, what would Satan do?
I don't know. When they play the record back, have you ever heard something that direct from a backward message?
No.
Usually you had that guy. You remember the guy with the curly hair and stuff that used to play those on PBS? He would be like, listen to this. Listen to this. I'll never forget the one. It was Another One Bites the Dust. So this guy, for the listening audience, if you're younger, if you don't know this, there was a guy that used to run around the countryside especially like the late 70s and early 80s. Yeah. And he said that rock and roll records had backward messages on them on purpose. Like then Satan was putting them there. And so, and he would take records around and play them backwards to prove it. So like, I remember Another One Bites the Dust was good because if you listen to it backwards, it says it's fun to smoke marijuana. So he plays it backwards. He goes, dong, dong, dong. Dong, 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 dong. And you hear Another One Bites Dust. Who? Yeah, and then they play it backwards, and it goes. Fun smoke marijuana. Okay, I guess you could get fun to smoke marijuana. What was the other one? It was Cheap Trick.
Yeah,
my servant is a songwriter or something in one of the songs. Anyway, so we have a lot of satanic heavy metal influencing demons coming
Killer
out of a hole.
Yes, jean jacket, vest wearing, little guy.
Yes, which was a band from Ontario, actually. So I love Killer Dwarves. I should have known better.
Yes,
about the about the Canadian connection because Killer Dwarves are I think in Ontario.
Yeah, one of my favorite videos of all times when they had the singer like in a little box or whatever. It's the song was keep the spirit alive or whatever, and it's the way the video is shot. It's awesome. It's really cheaply done, but it's awesome. Like so impressive, like. If you ever get a chance, Tim, I'll check it out.
All right.
It's a beaut. Oh, it's a beaut. And that little singer is great, too. He's a little creepy.
It's a little feller.
Right?
Is he a little feller like awesome. Little demons in the gate? Is he that little?
Not quite, but maybe Dio size.
I got you. I got you.
Little, maybe. Yeah.
So this is Stephen Dorff's film debut.
Okay,
he's a little turd in this movie. So he
looks like what's his name? Tom Atkins, like
a mini Tom Atkins.
Yeah, he looks like a little Tom.
Like a mini me.
Yeah, he does. Oh my God! Throughout the whole thing, I kept thinking, man, you got the same expressions and everything.
Yeah. So he's the main kid, I guess you're kind of following in this, and then he has a friend who I don't know about the friend. He's like a nerd who's into heavy metal. That wasn't.
No,
that you're taking two types of kids from those days, and we know this because I was 87, I was like 14, so I know these things. Or 15, so he was a nerd, like a Waldo looking nerd, who also was a heavy metal freak. And again, that didn't happen, but they took care of two characters with one and saved a few bucks. So so basically. They know about the hole and stuff, but the kid still has to play the records backwards, and so they're just making things worse as they go along. With this, and then, of course, conveniently, the parents are out of town in this story, and then so Stephen Dorff does have a very. And I'm getting kind of creepy because I was thinking, man, his sister's good looking. And I'm thinking she's probably like 14 in this or 15. I need to really slow down a little bit and remember how old I am.
14 or 15 at one point, Tim. So you might have been looking through your... Remember you said we were supposed to be putting ourselves in that time period.
I guess so, yeah. Here's the problem I have with this movie. So it sounds like a neat little movie. So then basically the kids need to close the hole up and get the monsters back down the ground. I mean, that's kind of like, so there's not much more plot to it than that.
No,
there isn't. But the problem I have with it is that we have a lot of movie that happens with a lot of discussion of cool things that might happen, but it takes forever for anything to really happen.
Yes, yeah.
And when it does... We have probably some of the best special effects and camera tricks I've seen ever.
Yeah, they do some good stuff. There's like a little or there's a zombie guy lurking around the house, and he looks really good. At one point, he like falls through the wall, kind of just appears like crashes. Like he doesn't come crashing through like I'm gonna kill you at first. He like just comes like crashing through the wall, and he's just kind of like stuck in. You're like, the hell is that? You know, and it looks really good. I mean, really good. And then all of a sudden he comes to life or whatever.
Right. They talked in the film. They mentioned it real briefly. And it's one of them. I don't usually catch this stuff, but I did catch this time that there was a story. I think that the heavy metal kid might have told Steven Dorff that when they were building the house, that one of the workers died. And when it was being built, and they put his corpse in the wall. In his house. Like, that's not something you tell a kid, you know, hey, buddy, you know what's in your house? There's like a corpse in your wall. So that that was supposed to be the worker that came out of the wall. That was reanimated by the demon-y spiritual shit that was going on. Yeah. In the house.
That was a cool little effect when he, when he came through the wall, like, it just looked cool. I was like, what the hell is that?
But this movie, it's like an hour and 25 minutes long. I mean, for the first 55 minutes, if not more, I mean, there's this talk about stuff going on and kids being kids and doing dangerous things that you think is going to set in motion what ends up getting set in motion. They keep doing all this stuff. They do that levitating game. Apparently, did you ever play that? Angie O goes, oh, it's the stiff as a board game.
Yeah.
I go, what? She goes, you didn't play that? I go, no, I drank and made out with girls. I don't, what is this you're talking about? It's like, well, I don't know what you're talking about. And so, was this something you played too?
No,
Okay, so there's
I did the same thing. Timo drank and tried to make out with girls.
Well, try is an operative word I didn't use, I guess. I said make out, but I did try, Yeah. So they play like these games while they're partying and they're smoking and they're drinking. Right away, that made this rated X in today's world.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, because right. They were doing things that kids actually want to do, and it was filmed and shown to audiences. You know. Oh yeah, right. Yeah. But this is a whole lot of proving they're kids.
Yeah.
And showing them doing kid things.
Yeah, and that part though, where they do the levitation thing, like the kid actually levitates off the ground.
Right.
Like levitates up into the air and grabs onto this thing, like a track lighting thing or whatever. And then comes crashing down to the ground and then takes off. And I mean, if I was a kid, I'd have been like freaked out. Nobody else in the party seems to be freaked out either. I'm like, this kid just levitated up in the air like 3 or 4 feet above us.
Right.
And then a little bit over to the left. No one else is freaked out by that.
Right.
No one else thought that was like even mildly concerning.
No,
like,
and like, what did that have to do with anything?
No, it didn't. What?
It was, at some point I'm thinking there were some Italian filmmakers that snuck over and made this movie.
That's what I was thinking too. That's why at the end, that's why I say, when at the end of this movie, I'm like, this has got to be something's up with this movie.
Yeah. Well, it's definitely, I mean, the director, Tibor Takas, his name is Takas.
Yeah.
Or Takasis or something like that. His name is, he did I, Madman. I like that movie. We reviewed that. Yeah, that's a good movie. I mean, he's a decent director. He's made a lot of these like genre type films and stuff. He knows what he's doing. I mean, and admittedly, that was a great call with the Canadian thing because I always wondered what it was about this movie. We've talked about this movie before a little bit.
Yeah.
And this is something that we should like. However, I kind of put this in the same category as like Monster Squad.
Yeah, me too.
The movies that were PG-13 at the time. This would be a hard R today.
Yes.
For shit that we never thought would be a hard R reason, like the kids smoking cigarettes. Mm-hmm. They weren't even smoking pot, were they? They were just smoking cigarettes.
Cigarettes, yeah.
Right, right. So back in our day, pots were the cigarettes of today.
Yes.
So God forbid you have them doing that, but you had them smoking cigarettes because those were safe. Like they weren't going to make you drugged out, whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
So they're drinking and they're smoking, and that is what kids did then.
Yes.
I mean, so we have all this stuff going on, but it just doesn't jive. There's just something that's not compelling, something you don't identify with. No. You can't figure it out. And I think, I was talking to Angie about this, I think it's our age. And what I mean by that is our direct age. Like, not because we're like in our 40s. I'm talking like the difference between 10 and 13 in the year 1987.
Yeah. And I was 17 when this came out. So it was kind of past me too, I'm like, and I wanted to and I like stuff like this, but, I kept thinking watching this now is like, it's almost like they were trying to throw a lot of good movies from the 80s all in together, like Poltergeist,
kitchen sink type of deal. Yeah,
yeah, and it just wasn't working. You had, to me, I kept all right.
I mean, the Italians would do that too. That's why I mentioned I think an
yeah.
Italian came over just as a joke. I mean,
yes, exactly. But no, I thought of Poltergeist while I was watching this. Troll. What's the other? I was thinking of Trick or Treat. The movie Trick or Treat and stuff, like because
stuff.
and I just there was like 3 or 4 different things that I kept thinking, man, this seems oddly familiar. And what's weird is I don't really remember that much about this movie. I thought I did, but I really didn't. And I know I've seen it a few times. No, not really.
We were watching it. I kept looking. I go, see, there's just nothing. I think Andrew was actually kind of getting into it.
Yeah.
And I don't know if she was identifying with the sister, so she was kind of like going through that route through the movie or what, but I'm not saying she was digging it. I'm just saying it was kind of clear to me that she was, and maybe she just needed an escape, so she was watching a little more. Or maybe she's just a more polite movie watcher and wasn't going to talk my ear off when I was trying to watch a movie we're supposed to review.
Right.
But well, the other thing too is she's 3 years younger than me.
Yeah.
So that's the kind of thing we're talking about. I was 14, and I was even telling her. I said, "See, when this movie came out, I told her me and you talked about this. I said, this is one of those etched in time movies, and it is like Monster Squad or something like that. Where if you were a certain age when this movie came out, man, you love this movie, and you're always going to keep it dear. But you had to be within like a 3-year range."
Yeah.
Where it really hit you good. And if you don't, it's like the Peanut Butter Solution or something. These movies that came out, the kids might still gravitate toward, but we might have been a few years older. And I basically said, when this movie came out, I'm pretty sure I went to a theater and saw a Friday the 13th movie.
Okay.
So I'm not going to watch a movie about little kids being chased around by little demons in a PG-13 movie. And the PG-13 thing was a kiss of death.
Yeah.
For a horror film back then.
Yeah.
It was.
Yes, it was.
Because it was telling you it was going to pull punches and stuff like that.
Yep.
So again, we have Stephen Dorff of Stephen Dorff fame. And his film debut here on this. And yes, you have a run-of-the-mill heavy metal misfit nerds raised demon with a dead family pet subplot for comic relief.
Yes, that was a little odd too.
So the dog dies. Like basically, the parents go out of town, and then the hell comes up out of the backyard. Yes. And one of the things that happens is the dog drops over dead or something. Yeah, it's a big dog, and it's their family pet. It's like a
Shaggy DA.
Yeah, it's a family pet, and so what? The boyfriend, like the girl's boyfriend or something. If I'm not mistaken, that's who he is, or at least a friend. Takes a dog around.
It's not that little nerdy kid, though. I thought it was that nerdy kid.
No, that takes the dog around town trying to drop it off somewhere.
Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah. No, I was talking about when I was saying about that. He thinks he sees his mom or something. He's dancing.
Oh, okay. So you're saying, no, I'm talking about like the comic, the supposed comic relief subplot.
Yeah.
Where this teenager who didn't even hardly look old enough to drive, but he was driving. So he probably was actually the right age for his character. Because usually it's like a 40-year-old playing a high school kid. But so he's going around town driving a dog's corpse around. We're supposed to think this is funny.
Yeah.
Trying to find a place to put the dog.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's not funny.
No. No.
I don't even think a Canadian would think that. Harley, you live by Canadians. Do they like to kill their dogs and drive them around for fun?
They like dogs. Yeah. No.
Okay. I thought so.
Yeah.
Trying to get...
No, because the weird part is like, so that kid's having like this nightmare or walking nightmare of first not a nightmare, it's his mom or something, it's deceased mom. And
yes, the nerdy kid, his mom has passed.
Yeah.
And here's what's interesting about that kid, I think his name is Louis Tripp, I believe his name is. That kid is actually in The Gate 2. So The Gate 2 follows that kid. I saw The Gate 2 in the last year or so. I don't think I'd ever seen it before.
Really?
And so it's that kid, it's that same actor and everything, and he's still kind of into heavy metal and stuff. And it kind of involves him raising the demons again and them infecting more teenagers. It's a very different film than the first one. Wow, they're not little kids anymore. They are the teenagers now.
Okay.
It's okay. It was, if you liked the first one, it wasn't any worse or that much better or anything.
Well, during that sequence, though, then he wakes up. And he's dancing with the dead dog. And then the dog has... It's just weird.
I wasn't sure about that. And then let's see what else. And then the sister who I'm not allowed to tell you is cute anymore because it makes me creepy and old.
Yeah.
She has two friends, the Lee sisters or something, and
yeah,
the one of them has the world's most interesting bangs.
yeah.
You want to talk about mall hair? I mean, this is like, this hair is reaching for the stars, man.
Yeah.
So I was just like,
a lot of them back then. Yeah.
Yeah, and that was a little like, I know it was supposed to be a joke, but I'm like, whoa, hey, and girls for a while did have a competition who could get the tallest bangs. It seemed
biggest hair. Yeah.
Right. And then you mentioned the entombed worker in the wall, zombie guy at the end, which is pretty cool. Look, there's nothing to this movie. It is kind of painful. They give you little teases of interesting things that might happen all the way up to like the last 20 minutes or a half hour, something like that. It's not a very long movie either.
No.
But let me tell you something. This movie has unparalleled great special effects.
Yes, it does.
Those little creatures, man, most of that was forced perspective.
Yeah, it's funny because I was like, some of them, I like that. Those are real people in those suits, man. I'm like, those got to be,
They are, and
they move so good.
And some of like the girl standing there, and like the little creatures are moving right next to her feet that are moving around. Yeah, those were brilliant forced perspective shots.
Yes,
that looked complete. I even paused it to try to find like, let's see, where did they etch out the cobblestones and stuff. Like, where do they etch that out to make that? And it's brilliant. And there's a little bit of stop motion in it and a little bit of puppetry. But again, Harley, we've been talking about this with these movies. It is such a brilliant marriage of techniques.
Yes. Yeah.
That I mean, hands down, I gotta tell you, this is one of the best special effects movies from that era I've seen.
Yeah.
I mean, to me, it's up there with, I mean, dare I say, like The Thing and stuff. And what I'm talking about is convincing effects. They're very convincing, and they're hard to understand how they did that shit.
The little creature guys were actually really good.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't care for them much in the movie or whatever, as far as what they, but they were done so well.
Right.
And there's some stop motion in here too.
There's some, but a lot of that is actually just the speed, the film speed sped up a little bit.
Yeah.
To make the creatures, to help the appearance of their being a little bit smaller. But there's some shots, man, where like they're following her up some stairs, and you would think they'd be green screened or something, and you do see some green screen shots in this.
Yeah,
but
you do.
They're not as they didn't cut corners in this. With the effects. I mean, they really went all out, and they're brilliant to me. I mean, I think they were just, and the stop motion was good stop motion.
Yeah.
That was in it. And I'm just really, really impressed with the effects. Unfortunately, it's all rolled up into one oddly not compelling horror stew.
Right.
It is really like ho-hum to me.
Yeah.
And maybe it's because we were just a couple years too old when this movie came out, because I can't stand the Monster Squad either.
No, I'm not the biggest fan of that one. I think it got to the point where it was like, that was more comedy stuff, too. And, and it's funny because the gate too, and I'll never forget the cover of the movie. It's really a pretty cool cover, And I think that's, to me, is the most iconic thing about the gate is that cover.
Right.
What I remember the most about it, but
I remember people talking about the effects. I remember some of the like critics and stuff talking about how they're really good effects, but the movie wasn't that great. I think, you know what? As an adult, I'm looking at, that's exactly right. That's exactly right. And I wasn't that young in '87. Not that it was wearing its ear and its sleeve that hard.
No,
with the music a little bit. But there was heavy metal music like that when we were just a few years before. I mean, it wasn't that different and stuff. I mean, the kid, I think, is wearing like a Venom patch too on it, which I'm sorry, but that kid did not listen to Venom.
No.
Sorry, but he did not listen to Venom. I'm sorry about that. But anyway, and the thing that hurts it too, so you get all this weird shit like the dog dying, and
but a lot of stuff went on while people were away. Like parents were away.
Oh yeah, no kidding. And it was funny too because the girl was like, "Yeah, I don't need a babysitter. I can take care of this house and everything." And
Yeah.
Woo, boy, did the rest of the movie ensure that you knew she was wrong about that. Yeah, she was
Exactly
about that.
Yeah.
But a couple of things here. I just watched the movie Dolls, and I remember I was telling you in the audience that I was on our good friend Cameron Scott's Cinema Degeneration podcast talking about that movie. And one of the things is a little girl in Dolls. Stuart Gordon said that they looked at a lot of Hollywood kids to play that part. Lots of them. And he said that the thing is with the girl they ended up casting was that she was not at all the best actor.
Right.
But she was the most sincere, the most real, and the most vulnerable seeming. Stephen Dorff in this is way too good of an actor. He's this real little kid who's like, I won't say overacting, but he's almost chewing the scenery a little bit. And he's like, he's like, take me instead. Take me instead. Just doing shit that kids would not do. No kid was sophisticated enough to act the way that kid did. If they would have gotten a little like inexperienced kid who was a little more realistic, he probably would have been acting that way. So I got a problem with that. The other problem I have is the ridiculous, let's ensure that PG-13 rating ending. Which never worked. It kept it a kid's film. The very, very end kept it a kid's movie. It cheated a little bit. It's one of those deals where once the threat is vanquished, everyone who you thought died just magically just comes back to life.
Right. Yeah.
They literally, I think, walk out of a closet, if I'm not mistaken, all alive and in good. Even the dog.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Even the dog. And that dog went all over town as a corpse. And we're supposed to be laughing our asses off while it's happening, which I did not. I was like, that dog's still dead, right? It is still like, okay, all right, So it's a tough one, Harley, because it's a very beautiful movie to look at, especially the last 20 minutes or so of it, or half hour. Yeah. Boy, but it's just tedious when it comes to plot and stuff. It's just...
It is. Definitely. And I guess I know why I didn't really like it when I was younger too.
Right.
And now, it's just, to me, it's just one of them movies. It's just okay. It's all right. Mm-hmm. And I do appreciate, like you said, the special effects and stuff like that. But it just, I don't know. It just doesn't. It never grabbed me. It still doesn't. I don't know.
It should have been an episode of Tales from the Dark Side.
Yeah, there you go.
Because it does. It feels like you don't need the hour setup of all this stuff. You could have had 10 minutes of that setup, and then there is on by 20 minutes of effect stuff.
Right.
But they could have it could have been a half hour long, and they could have done that. And again, it's all padded. The whole damn thing is just padded through. Yeah. And I don't think that it was intentional padding, though. I think they thought they were making something that kids would identify with. Again, maybe they did, but I did not. I know this film is a classic, a cult classic, like Monster Squad is.
Yeah.
I just don't have.
Yeah, I know a lot of people like it, but me either. I just don't. And I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, I just don't.
Right down to the Where's Waldo kid having a Venom patch on his jacket. I'm like, that's not the way it works. That's not the way it happened. I don't know. The kids with the Venom patches were picking on the nerdy kid because they weren't cool enough to pick on the athletic kids.
Right, exactly.
That's how it worked. That's how things came together back then. Damn it, we know, we were there. So we were the ones picking on Waldo and getting picked on by the athletes. So we know, damn it. So, but look, here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna give the gate, but the effects, are so good that actually I'm going to reverse that a little bit and give it the mildest of lukewarm, mild grape apes with some cigarette ashes at the bottom of them or something, just because those effects are so good, Harley. And I sat there and watched this on Blu-ray, like on a 75-inch 4K TV, and I was pausing things to see if I could catch the little inaccuracies and the camera tricks. I couldn't find any.
Sure.
And you don't fool me very easily, especially from 1987. And got no CG. It's all camera tricks, man. It's all camera tricks and green screen and stop motion and forced perspective. Even when like the little like heavy metal kid is like sitting there and the camera's over his shoulder and the little creatures are attacking his legs. Yeah, well, the kid was sitting there and the camera was over his shoulder and those legs were like 20 feet away from him. and they matched it up perfect. You had no idea that was happening. I mean, and it was just done perfect. Lighting was perfect on them. So anyway, but I'm just going to give it.
Well, I'd say too, one memorable thing from that, the special effects is when the worker or whatever that was supposedly died in the walls, when he falls and hits the ground and then it turns into all the little guys.
Oh yeah.
That one I'll always remember that scene from this movie. And I think it's a good one. You know, and they use it. I know a lot in certain things. You'll see it. You know, used in when they're doing like whatever a horror host type thing or a montage of horror movies.
It's a famous effects shot.
Yeah.
So I agree with you. Yeah, and that's a real good one because that's what I remember about this movie, that it was lauded for being really good special effects, but I don't remember anything else ever being said about it. You know, at all. So, and maybe the Canadian thing is an X factor that we're not really picking up on, meaning the distribution of it and stuff being a little weak in the States, which they tend to be for Canadian films for the most part. As kids, we heard about them, especially during the VHS days, because they would make their rounds here. I mentioned the peanut butter solution. Pretty sure that was Canadian in a bizarre. That's a weird one. I got that on Blu-ray, and I haven't actually sat down and watched it. That's a weird movie, man. A lot of weird stuff going on in that, so I'm gonna have to get my eyeballs on that too. Anyway, so again, I'm actually going to give it, but I'm sucking it back up, and then I'm going to give it just a mildest of lukewarm cigarette-ashy grape apes because the effects to me were so good. But that's my opinion. So what do you think?
I'm just going to give it a super low, mild grape ape up. I'm not a big fan of the film. It's okay.
Yeah,
you know. I just think it's all right.
I agree with you.
No, but the effects are awesome.
Yeah,
way awesome. But I just never really. I don't know. I just never gravitated towards it. I still think I don't. You know.
And it hurts because you get reminded that we don't need CG.
Right. Yep.
And it took a lot of time and effort to do those effects shots.
Yeah. Yep.
I still think that's the reason we're using computers.
Yeah.
I mean, if you tell me that those weren't more convincing than CG, I don't know what to tell you.
No, they were. They were, I thought, too. I mean, and just awesome, you know.
Right.
And it didn't take me out of it at all. I thought they were great.
No. So. It was what took me out was how convincing they were. I was like, whoa, how do they do that one? Especially like running up the stairs. The girl runs up the stairs and the little things follow her. And you're like, I know that was forced perspective, but forced from where and to whom? I'm like, oh, wow, that was great. You know, so, all right, let's get out of here, Mr. Ben Harley. So all you deep thinkers out there, it's crazy world out there, so stay safe and sane, please. Please. Let's see here, and I don't know what we're going to do next week, Mr. Ben Harley, but maybe let's do something that's a little bit more in our wheelhouse and a little less Canadian. No offense to our friends in the Great White North, especially for you.
Right.
They could shoot a slingshot and hit you right in the head right now. So
that's
right. I don't want to piss off pissed off Canadians. We don't want to piss off Canadians. They ride over hockey games, you know, and I don't want to. I don't want to deal with that at all. So, but anyway, so until next week, Mr. Ben Harley, and all you deep thinkers out there, stay spooky, and we'll talk to you then.
Keep it creepy, people.
You've been listening to the Timo and Harley Show, brought to you by ScreenPrintingFactory.com, your affordable one-stop solution to all your screen printing needs.